Now, finally, let's talk about the Nova Flare changes for both Sparkle and Black Swan. So, for Sparkle, I'm not a Sparkle main, but I don't think they changed her skill or ultimate. It's still the same. Her skill is still 50% action advance, plus the crit damage based on your Sparkle's crit damage. It's still the same. The skill has not yet changed. Her ultimate now regenerates 6 skill points. I don't think it used to be 6. I think it used to be 4 or 5, but now it gives 6 skill points. And if she overcaps skill points, she's gonna gain 1 extra stack of mask for each point that overflows. So I don't know what this mask is. It's probably going to be some sort of buff, I presume. Also, when the next time she uses her skill, it does not consume skill points. So she's going to get a free action advance without wasting a skill point. That's actually pretty cool. I don't think that's the current feature for Sparkle. So pretty solid change there. Now, all her main ascension traces, all the 3 major traces were changed. I can tell you that much for 100%. Also, when you use her technique and enter the battle, or if you have enter the battle, you get 20 energy you regenerate 20 energy for Sparkle. So you get a turn 1 ultimate with Sparkle now, guaranteed. I think that was a thing. I think that was a thing even before the buff. I don't know. I'm not a Sparkle main. Okay, I don't own Sparkle, so I don't know about those things. But her major traces, the major 3 traces, were changed. I can 100% guarantee you that. So her major trace 1, using basic attack, additionally regenerates 10 energy. Pretty big because she had some energy problems with her ultimates and stuff. So that's a pretty big change. Also, if your ally uses her skill or basic attack, the buffed ally, by the way, the buffed ally, if he uses a skill or basic attack, Sparkle regenerates 1 energy. So, yeah, that's pretty cool, I guess. Now, for her major trace 2, if an ally consumes 3 or more skill points, in a single action, Sparkle's next usage will not consume skill point. This is what I was saying from the ultimate thingy, by the way. So if you are a Sparkle, if you're a Hanabi main, or not a Hanabi, or if you're a Sparksy or an Archer main, or even a Danhang main, you're gonna spam your skill points a lot. So next time when Sparkle uses her skill, it will not consume skill points. That's a pretty solid buff in my opinion. Now for her Trace 3, they finally removed the goddamn quantum buff. Thank God. Now all allies attack increased by 45%, so you flat out get the attack. You don't need to spam the skill points to get the attack. You just flat out get the attack. And the allied character possesses the crit damage boost effect provided by the skill. All type rest spend increased by 10. So you get the 40% crit damage from the skill. Now you also get the 10 rest spend from your skill. So in total you get 45 attack percentage, and you get a flipping 10 rust pen on top of it. So it's really nice. They finally changed the most useless trace in the game and actually gave it some use now. Simply it made her a little bit more viable with the other units. Maybe even with Anaxa. You could use this on Anaxa now and get really high value, but unfortunately we all know all the Chrysophares want Cyrene, so maybe not that much, but it's still a solid buff for Sparksy Archer main. If you're enjoying, I think Archer mains should be really happy because Trust Pen, especially with the Quantum set, will go really ham here in my opinion. So really good changes for Sparkle in my opinion. But I'm gonna be honest, compare this buff to Black Swan buffs, because Black Swan in my opinion is gonna be really strong, because Sparkle I thought was already in a good state, but Black Swan, she was in a pretty niche state, and her buffs I think really look better compared to Sparkle buffs in my opinion. Also, her items didn't got too much changes. Her E2 got a buff, I think, that's it. Now for Black Swan, yay! As a dot main, I'm super happy. They actually changed a lot of things for Black Swan. Her base numbers did got tweaked a little bit. Again, if you guys want to check out her base stats and everything, you can just go on Hakushin yourself and check it out, because I'm not going to go through all of that. But her major change, her talent. Now her talent will provide 20% defense ignore to her Arcana stack. Unfortunately, this is for herself, this is for her multipliers, not for the whole team. So she's only going to give the 20% defense for her Arcana stacks. So I don't know if it's going to be like overall 20%, so even your whole team can take abuse. If it's like for a whole team, then it's going to be really strong. Now for her ultimate, The ultimate is still the same, but the big thing, after applying empathy on the enemy target, Tigers takes 17% increased damage and gain one stack of Arcana, 50% fifth chance to gain one additional stack of Arcana. Simply, now you apply 70% vulnerability debuff on the enemy on top of your Arcana stacking bullshit. So the enemy will take more damage on their turn, and because of the vulnerability, now while you're doing your other bullshit, like if you're using Kafka and everything, on your turn you will do more damage. It's really a solid buff in my opinion. It's not that game breaking, but it's a solid buff that she needed, because her biggest weakness was you had to wait for their turns to do the most damage, but now you're more like support debuffer that does decent dot damage as a Black Swan. I think this was a solid buff. Now, again, like I said, it depends on her talent, the defense down, if it's like your whole team can take advantage, or is it just Black Swan. If it's only for Black Swan, then it's going to be a little bit weak in my opinion. But if it's for the whole team, that 20% will be huge, by especially considering Heislands also applies 20% defense down with her skills, so you can stack that shit up with everything. So yeah, it's gonna be depending on the situation and seeing how it's gonna be. Again, like I said, her multipliers got changed. I think for her skill, by the way, her skill multipliers got changed. Her Arcana stack is still the same, I think. So yeah. Now for her major traces, her major trace 2 got changed. The defense ignore is now 100% for 3 turns. I mean, you have 100% base chance for 3 turns, so you can apply that even if you don't have 120 effective trade, you will apply the defense person 100% now on everything. Pretty solid in my opinion. And yeah, that's it. They didn't change her trace 3, unfortunately. Her major trace 3 is still the same, so you still want to get 120 effective trade to get the maximum damage bonus for herself. But if you don't care about that, you don't need to stack effective trade that much. But 120 effective trade is still the threshold for her maximum damage efficiency. But the major changes for her, for Black Swan, are her talent. Her Arcana stack will provide 20% defense down. Like I said, I don't know if it's only for her or for the whole team. If it's for the whole team, that's a great buff. If it's only for her, it's going to be like, whatever. But you have to wait on that, unfortunately. You probably need to wait on some gameplay to get an exact idea. And her ultimate now also gives 70% vulnerability. That's solid in my opinion. So her ultimate now actually has some value, because before that, her ultimate was like, whatever. I use it more to like break the enemy than to do anything else. So I'm pretty solid, happy with Black Swan changes. Like I said, it depends on the Arcana change. If it's like a 25 defense for the whole team, it's going to be crazy, by the way. If it's only for her, it's going to be a little bit weak. But changes, they do look nice. Especially the Sparkle change. I think Sparkle was already strong, but now with these changes, I think she's super strong. Especially for Archer mains. I think Archer mains will be so happy with those changes. So yeah, that's it for the Nova Flare changes, guys. And I think solid buffs. There could be some more changes in the upcoming beta, so we just need to wait and see how they go with this. And yeah, see you guys on another video. And yeah, have a great day, guys.